Number 10, Liar Liar. Emma Duropoulos. Okay, this chick is badass right off the hop. She first appeared in Wonder Woman 759. She's the long-lost daughter of Maxwell Lord, and growing up, Emma's mother Susan kept the fact that her father was still alive from her. Now, she did find out eventually, but her mother insisted that he died of cancer, never even telling Emma his real name. And on top of that, Emma was growing into her powers, and her mother also ignored those. She didn't believe that she had powers until one day Emma showed her an up-close look at them. She made her mother collide with an oncoming truck, and sadly Emma was the only survivor. Next step was to break her father out of jail and earn his trust by, of course, helping him take down Wonder Woman. Emma used her psychic wave manipulation powers and combined them with Maxwell Lord's previous passion project, a weapon called Odysseus. So now Emma can cause any user to hallucinate. Her dad even makes fun of her for this, calling her a child, some sort of millennial superhero joke, I guess, I don't know. I mean, she almost blasted off a nuke in Arizona, so you better watch your mouth, Maxwell.
Number 9, Batman. This version of Batman is Jace Fox, initially known as Timothy Fox or Tim Fox, the son of longtime Batman ally Lucius Fox. However, Timothy prefers to be called Jace now. While Timothy Fox has actually been around in the comics since the New Earth continuity, and I believe came out in the late 70s, this version of the character as a future Batman who prefers to be called Jace is actually pretty new to us. He first appeared as Batman's replacement during our glimpse into Future State, appearing in DC Nation Presents DC Future State issue number 1 for the first time, at least within the Future State continuity. But Jace has also appeared in the main Prime Earth continuity as well, first appearing there in Batman issue 101, the volume that started back in 2016 and is still successfully ongoing since. Jace, like Bruce Wayne's Batman, is just a highly skilled and trained human who takes up the mantle of Batman in Future State after Batman goes missing and is basically presumed to possibly be dead. Jace Fox was created initially back in the 70s by Len Wein and Irv Novick, but was revived recently in Future State: The Next Batman by writer John Ridley. He first reappeared in the Future State continuity in January of 2020. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it where we tell you about some of the best, newest heroes coming your way, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8, Bolt. Bolt has an untimely ending in Future State where she is a forced recruit of Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad. But fortunately, in the Prime Earth continuity, events have gone a bit differently for her. She made a deal with Amanda Waller after losing her legs to join the Suicide Squad later on in her life in exchange for those super cool prosthetics. But when it came time for Alinta, aka Bolt, to uphold her end of the bargain, she refused. She had joined the Teen Titans Academy and wanted to remain as a hero as opposed to joining Amanda Waller's Task Force X. In the main continuity, Bolt avoids capture and gets to remain a Titan in training. This is also where she gets her codename of Bolt from the Titans Academy. Bolt is an interesting character as while tapped into the Speed Force as a speedster, she has no other connection or affiliation to the Speed Force family. That is, you know, the Allen or West family. Alinta was created by Robbie Thompson and Javier Fernandez and first appeared in January 2020 in DC Nation Presents DC Future State issue number 1. In that continuity, later appearing in the Prime Earth continuity in Infinite Frontier issue number 0. Number 7, Ghostmaker. Ghostmaker is surprisingly one of my new favorite characters to come out of Batman comics, and initially when he first was shown to us I was like, nah, Ghostmaker sounds kinda lame, but now, wow, I really love him. He is the old friend and rival of Bruce Wayne's who trained alongside him back before he really was even Batman. Min-Kwa Khan also wanted to become a vigilante, but whereas Batman often develops connections to those around him and very much has roots in Gotham, Min-Kwa as Ghostmaker travels the world remaining detached and attempting to clean up city after city as he goes, which is why he comes to Gotham and also feels following Joker War that he could do a better job than Bruce could as the city's protector. Although he starts out as an antagonist, over time he comes to respect Bruce and eventually chooses to fight alongside him instead of against him, despite their different approaches to vigilantism. He first appeared in October of 2020 in Batman issue number 100 from the current volume started in 2016 that of course is still ongoing. Number 6, Wonder Woman / Girl. Wonder Girl. You know? Yara Flor is our Future State Wonder Woman. When Diana gets a glimpse into the possible future in Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7, it is Yara who she sees carrying on the mantle of Wonder Woman. Yara is not an Amazon from Themyscira. Instead, she is an Amazon of the Amazon rainforests of Brazil, being from a different tribe basically than Diana is, but still an Amazon. In the Future State reality, Yara was considered to be a demigod. Yara Flor's Wonder Woman initially appeared in Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7 in January of 2021. She was created by Joel Noel Jones, and would later be incorporated into the main continuity of Prime Earth and get a short-lived comic series all her own titled Wonder Girl, which takes place prior to Yara becoming Wonder Woman. Although now what happened in Future State is questionable, as some things have already changed, meaning that exact potential future likely won't come to pass. But you know, Yara could still end up as Wonder Woman at some point. I would believe it. Number 5. Dee-Dee. Dee-Dee was a short-lived hero who appeared as a new Gotham City Siren during Future State. With everything up in the air in regards to how the world will evolve and develop and which parts of the potential future that is Future State will get incorporated into the narrative, I don't actually know if we'll ever see Dee-Dee again. But she was a pretty cool character and a great addition to the Gotham City Sirens. While not always the most heroic group, here the Femme Fatales were actually doing good in this story. Dee-Dee was an android who first appeared in Future State The Next Batman issue number 2 in the Gotham City Sirens story within there. Dee-Dee joined up with Catwoman and Poison Ivy in an attempt to take down and expose her creator, Dax Dilton, which could both save the world and help the Resistance, who stand against the oppressive magistrate in this world. Dee-Dee made her first appearance in January 2021. Number 4. Swamp Thing. While Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, once known as scientist Alec Holland, is the most well-known Swamp Thing, he's not the only one to have taken up the mantle and role of the Avatar of the Green. We actually have a new Swamp Thing in the comics as of Infinite Frontier issue number 0. This is Levi Kamai from India, who developed a connection to the Green and became its new young avatar. He shares similar powers to Swamp Thing Alec Holland before him, but is still getting a handle on these newfound abilities. He was created by Ram V and Mike Perkins. Levi made his first appearance in the comics in March of 2021. Number 3. Flatline. Flatline is a tricky one to nail down when it comes to her alignment. She isn't really a hero, but she isn't really like a straight up baddie either. Sure, she's been the sidekick of the villain Lord Deathman, but she reads to me as kind of ambivalent to the whole idea of, you know, like good versus evil. I don't think she really subscribes to either ideology, but she also does run with a generally good guy most of the times, Damian Wayne, which means that if I had to place her anywhere on the spectrum, I'd be more likely to classify her currently as an anti-hero. Or, you know, like an anti-hero sidekick maybe? I don't know. She is known for being Damian Wayne's love interest. Her powers allow her to adopt the skills, or at least a portion of the skills, of anyone who she kills or who is basically near her when they die. She first appeared in Detective Comics in issue 1034 in March 2021. Number 2. Jay Nakamura. While not technically a superhero yet, Jay has been revealed to at least have superpowers, and he's dating a superhero, so it seems likely that Jay may soon become a superhero himself. He made his first appearance in Superman Son of Kal-El, issue number 2. Jay is an online media reporter who runs a journalistic website called The Truth, and already uses a codename as part of that group and site. His codename is Gossamer, which is fitting since his powers actually revolve around intangibility and invisibility. He can phase through things and can make himself appear at least partially invisible. Jay first appeared in DC in August of 2021. Number 1. Dreamer. The first transgender superhero on television who recently made her way to the pages of DC Comics. Naya Nal is a superhero character who first appeared in Supergirl Season 4, Episode number 1, American Alien. She is based off of DC's Dream Girl, Nura Nal, and is also depicted as being Nura's ancestor. Naya Nal was created by Robert Rovner and Jessica Keller for the Supergirl live-action CW series. Her powers come from her Naltorian ancestry, being half Naltorian and half human. She can travel through dreams to get to someone, teleporting in essence to a person through their dreams, and can also manipulate one's dreams as well as astral project and project energy too. She is also a seer of sorts. Dreamer made her first appearance in the comics in the DC Pride 2022 special in June of 2022. Number 10. Green Lantern Mullein. Sojourner Joe Mullein is the Green Lantern who first appeared in DC's Young Animals imprint comic, Far Sector. She was created by the amazing science fiction and fantasy writer N.K. Jemisin and mind-blowing artist Jamal Campbell. Jo is a Green Lantern who is unique in the sense that she wasn't traditionally chosen to be a lantern, and the ring she is given is not inherently as powerful as your typical Green Lantern ring, but in some ways it can actually be seen as more powerful. Most Green Lantern rings require a battery to charge them, but Jo's is actually self-charging. Now, this is useful when she ends up designated to an area so far out in space she doesn't really need to be near any batteries. However, it should be noted that because it is self-charging, Jo has to be more conscientious when it comes to how she uses her power, as it is possible for her to completely deplete her power stores and be left without power during a time of crisis when she is forced to wait for her ring to recharge itself. Mullein has quickly become one of my favorite lanterns. She made her first appearance in November of 2019.
Number 9. Synmar Utopica. First appearing in Super Superman issue 25 just last year in Mythological Part 1, the Synmar are an alien species who witnessed the destruction of Krypton. In fact, they saw young Kal-El zipping through space, and they discussed the possibility of intercepting. They're like, who is this kid? Where is he heading? Earth? What's on Earth? There's nothing there. Yeah, apparently we're too primitive to be part of their defense registrar, which is neat. I didn't know this was a roast. Awesome. So cut 2 years later, Clark has grown up. Now the Synmar, still watching from the cosmic bushes, they decide, you know what, they need to elect their own leader to go toe-to-toe with Superman if need be. Enter Eisno Alcor, a soldier for the Synmar. He showed promise, so they chose him to be their weapon against the Kryptonian. That was their original intention for the young soldier. But Superman was deemed a hero on Earth, so the Synmar thought, maybe we should just chill out. He's clearly doing a good job. We'll keep an eye on him though still, but for sure he's not a threat. So they decided, let's just send Eisno out to do other stuff regardless. Deal, sounds good. Eventually Eisno got back from a mission and there was this big celebration, a big party, but he finally asked his superior why he's the only hero on his home world. And President Dreddy finally explained that he was initially picked to fight Superman, but he turned out to be a protector, so we just used him instead for other missions in the galaxy. So Eisno is feeling confused. He's like, Superman, who is this guy? What? So he leaves the party, he's deep in thought, then all of a sudden, while he's busy being sad in the cornfield, all of his friends and crew are attacked back at the party. So he gets back, everybody's toast, and there's pics of Superman all around. So now he has a reason to attack Superman. You gotta love those super misunderstandings. Always a good one. Before we continue on with this list, you know the drill. If you want to go ahead and hit that like button, it helps us out quite a bit here at the studio, and then in turn, we can bring some nerdy news back into your eyes and soul. So hit that like button, and then we can bring you some good stuff. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the list. Number 8, Punchline. Alexis K entered DC Comics only a year ago, right after Harley Quinn finally left the Joker. In Harley's animated series, we see them part ways in the first episode. Birds of Prey as well, we get to focus on Harley's life post-Joker. It's been a long time coming, and fans are here for it. That's great, but now we also have an opening for Joker's sidekick. Okay, enter Alexis K. She made her comic debut in Batman Volume 3, issue 89. Originally a student at Snyder College, Alexa met the Joker for the first time on a field trip to a TV studio. It was pretty intense. Alexis was forced by the Joker to read a message to the citizens of Gotham. I mean, luckily Batman came in to save the day, but as far as field trips go, that's a lot of trauma to take home. Right? Alexis actually started a podcast after, not to, cope and talk and deal with the situation, but rather she believed the Joker was onto something. She was on board with all of his devious plans. She was diving in deep with all of his past crimes, and eventually she made her own outfit and started to poison the people of Gotham. So many of my friends listen to crime podcasts. I'm gonna start asking some questions. Number 7, Tommy Maxx. First appearing in Red Hood Outlaw issue 51, titled Minutes from Downtown Gotham, Tommy is a Batman rogue that doubles as a sneakerhead. That's right, fashion never felt so badass before. Thomas Measle makes his fortune selling shoe lines based off popular DC villains. His Poison Ivy line was just dazzling the ladies, of course. And no, he didn't make Killer Crocs either. I already checked, I thought of that too. He did, however, use Killer Croc as his own personal bodyguard after freeing him from jail. I think I'm a fan of Tommy because I too worked at a shoe store years back. I'm not nearly as cool as him though. I'm like, oh, 11 and a half? You got it, man. Be right back. Number 6, Frost King. Edwald Olafsson first entered comics in Justice League Endless Winter Chapter 1. He's a newer character, and as you could probably guess, he is a giant frost beast. I'm trying really hard not to say frost giant, clearly. His story begins thousands of years earlier, back in the day when he fought with Black Adam, Viking Prince, and Swamp Thing. But he ended up getting buried for 1,000 years in the same glacier that later on became the Fortress of Solitude. Poor guy was just stuck on the walls while everybody was watching Game of Thrones. He's probably so bored. Eventually the fortress was destroyed and the Frost King was released, this time with a hint of Kryptonian energy, which is always fun. Number 5, the Designer. So we mentioned that sneakerhead of Gotham, so it's only fair to bring up this class act next. Appearing for the first time in Batman Volume 3, issue 89 in April 2020, the Designer was this masked criminal who at the age of 60 had earned himself legendary status for being able to plan and execute so many master plans. He was killing it. He also created this chemical that allowed him to use corpses to move around and carry out said master plans. He's got zombie backup, that's cool, I guess. Early on in Batman's career, the Designer would watch Batman take down all these rogues, so he approached them. He talked to them all. He talked to Catwoman, the Joker, Penguin, and the Riddler. They all met at his hideout just outside of Gotham City, and he offered them way better plans. And when it came down to the Joker's desires, well, the Joker wanted his job. He wanted to take his place. So the Designer ordered that undead army to attack, but Joker shot him, and supposedly ended his life. Now cut to Batman Volume 3, issue 85, the designer returns, only Batman finds out that it's just, you guessed it, a corpse being controlled by the Joker. Everyone's using corpses to fight battles? It's gross. Imagine the smell. Number 4, Sideways. Derek James, aka Sideways, came into comics back in his own series in 2018. He was in Gotham with his adoptive mother Helen when Challenger's Mountain returned from the dark multiverse. So the following earthquake split the two up, leaving Derek to fall into the ground, right into a rift into the multiverse. 4 days passed and then Derek was finally able to return, but the question was, how? Derek obtained the ability to teleport through dimensions. He does so by creating tears in space-time. He can literally open the door to a new universe. After a month of having this power, his friend Ernestine made him a costume, cause, you know, of course. And in his first live stream as the hero Sideways, he took on the Tempest Fugonaut, who was upset because Derek was toying with space-time, which, I mean, it's more than fair. Number 3, The Signal. Duke Thomas entered DC Comics not too recently, but back in 2013 in Batman Volume 2, issue 21. He lost his parents at a young age, similar to Batman, but he lost his to the Joker. So he joined and then led the We Are Robin movement. That's when hundreds of teens took on the Robin mantle, sporting the capital R, and took to the streets while Batman was absent. Nice movement, awesome. Now Duke left this movement because he was eventually recruited to train under Batman himself and joined the fam. Not a bad upgrade. Now Duke, aka The Signal, is a member of the newly reformed outsider teams being led by Black Lightning. His father was the villain Nomon, but before his birth, his mother Elaine ran for it to Gotham in order to get away from Nomon. She became a social worker and then married a man named Doug Thomas, who wasn't a supervillain. Nice. They both raised Duke in Gotham Narrows. Later on, when the Riddler was challenging the city, he asked all these citizens to bring forth a riddle that even he can't solve, and then only then will he turn the power back on in the city. So Duke was ready for this. He was smart. He was ready to go, but Batman respected that, but he also ended up just taking on the Riddler himself. Since 0 Year, Duke goes by the alias Lark simply because he doesn't want Batman to repeat the past failures with the Robin mantle. It's almost cursed, I don't blame him. He also fights crime during the day, which, yeah, crime happens during the day too. This guy's great, we definitely need him on the streets. Number 2, the Talon. William Cobb made his debut back in 2011 in Batman Volume 2, Issue 2. The Talon is an assassin for the Court of Owls who claims to have killed several Wayne family members, including Bruce Wayne's great-great-grandfather, Alan Wayne. The Court of Owls just may be the villains of the new Batman movie, so let's refresh our memory here. William Cobb began his early days juggling baseballs on the street just to get by, and after his father had passed away tragically while building a bridge for Cameron Kane, he would resort to these tricks to earn some money on the side and then sneak into his mother's purse as well. What a gem. But then one day somebody was watching his act and then he got pickpocketed, so William Cobb hucked one of his baseballs at him, saving the day, and the man offered him a job afterwards at a circus as a thank you. What a weird interaction. He started using knives instead of baseballs to, you know, amp up the act, and eventually he met his love Amelia, back when he returned to Gotham, now a celebrity. Amelia's father didn't like the two of them in love, so he told William to get out of there, he told him to beat it, and Amelia at this time was also pregos. Yeah, so Cobb joined the Court of Owls, became one of the Talons, and then went back to Amelia's house to kidnap his son, and his son ended up becoming the Gray Son of Gotham, John Grayson's father. Whew, a lot of history. Thank you for listening. Boom.
Number 1, Ghostmaker. We don't know a lot about Ghostmaker yet. He first appeared in Volume 3 of Batman, the current run, in issue 100 as a mysterious figure. And so far, he stayed that way. We'll likely see more of him in issue 103, but so far we know he's not as new as he might appear. In fact, in Batman issue 102, Batman seems to recognize him, leading many to speculate as to which old rival Ghostmaker's true identity could actually be. We do know that he's here to challenge Batman for Gotham and to provide the people with an alternate option when it comes to choosing their hero for their city. He also comes with a ton of tech, and at this point is probably going to quickly end up being better equipped than Batman himself when it comes to gadgets, as Bruce just lost all of his fortune to Lucius Fox. Well, he gave it away, that is. And Lucius is out of the Batman game. Bruce is on his own this time around when it comes to equipping himself, and he only has his own ingenuity and the help of the Bat fam to back him up.
Kicking off the list at number 10. Harley Sinn. Constance Brand, aka Harley Sinn, is the daughter of a billionaire, so you already know she's going to be trouble. Harley Sinn first came around in 2016, making her first appearance back in Gang of Harleys issue 1. First of all, the look of Harley Sinn, I'm here for it. She's got that Rocky Horror Picture Show vibe, she's a badass. The second issue, titled Hit 'Em Where It Hurts, we see the tattooed badass punk put in some work. She meets Harley Quinn, and during a fun little introduction panel, we see Sinn say the words, I'm the person that's going to be killing each and every one of your useless gang. So right off the hop, she's kind of a big deal. I don't know, she's in a bad mood. So this rich billionaire father I mentioned earlier, yeah, Harley Sinn's father in fact is believed to be Donald Trump, or at least he was drawn and characterized to resemble him. That plus the tattoos, drug addictions, and lust for violence, you got yourselves quite the villain. And before we move on to number 9, make sure if you guys haven't done so already to go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out a bunch here at the studio, and it's this one, not this one. Unless you're a Spider-Man, then maybe it's that one. Go ahead and click that one.
Number 9. Grail. Grail is the villainous daughter of Darkseid and basically acts as an opposing force to Wonder Woman. The two women were born at exactly the same time, and it was prophesied that Grail, the daughter of Darkseid, and Myrna would bring about much destruction. As such, she was almost killed as soon as she was born, but her mother protected her. She proved almost right away in the comics that she was a new villain worthy of our time when she made easy work of the Justice League. She and Diana ended up facing off shortly thereafter, but their fight was interrupted. However, they would continue to clash during the Darkseid War, and likely will keep doing so, as Grail was basically designed to be the perfect foil for Wonder Woman. Grail was first introduced in Justice League Volume 2, Issue 40.
And number 8. Godspeed. August Hart, aka Godspeed, made his first debut not too long ago in the Flash Rebirth Volume 2, Issue 1. With a name like Godspeed, one can only assume the powers in which they'll contain. Super speed, which is also my favorite superpower on the low. Created by Joshua Williamson and Carmine Di Giandomenico, sorry if I butchered that name, I tried 7 times. Godspeed stands out from the rest of the speedsters because of one badass reason. He can separate speedsters from the Speed Force. Now if you watch the CW's Arrowverse, you know what I'm talking about already. August Hart was also a detective, a former partner of Barry Allen, to be frank. And then along comes a force storm in Central City, and all of a sudden you have these godlike powers. Pretty ideal powers for a hero, and also a villain. That's right, as you would have guessed by clicking this video, he doubles as a villain on the low. So he became the Flash's partner while secretly becoming Godspeed the villain. Not cool, dude. Why'd the villain move though? Well, when August's brother was murdered by a criminal, he was released due to insubstantial evidence. So August decides to confront the Black Hole organization after they had stolen property from Star Labs. He sees their symbol that resembles one at his brother's crime scene. Interesting. So while confronting him, that's when the Speed Force lightning strikes. I feel like if I was a speedster, I would just be like Quicksilver, right? Hang out in the basement, play some stolen video games. Is it really that hard to just chill out? I know you're angry, but like, it's all good. Speed walk it off.
Number 7. Perpetua. Perpetua is an old evil, but one that we didn't know of in the comics until 2018 when she was first introduced in Justice League Volume 4, Issue 8. Perpetua quickly became known as one of the greatest evils the universe, or multiverse really, had ever known. She was the creator basically of all things, and the mother to the Anti-Monitor, World Forger, and Over-Monitor. Billions of years ago, she was betrayed by her own children and trapped in the Source Wall, along with her devastating and deadly creatures, the Apex Predators, a vicious combination of Martians and humans. Yeah, she really old. Perpetua was the one ultimately responsible for the crisis in the DC universe, as it was her whisperings from within the Source Wall that brought them about. The energy allowed her prison to weaken, cracking a little more each time there was a crisis, which was how Perpetua planned to escape. She was eventually freed when the Source Wall broke as a result of Barbatos and the Batman Who Laughs actions, allowing her to once more wreak havoc on the world and earn back her power so she might rebuild the universe again in her own horrifying image.
Number 6. The Kindred. Making its first appearance in the Multiversity Guidebook number 1, the Kindred is this cosmic force that appeared after the Rebirth event. Created by Grant Morrison, the Kindred is a 4-part entity, and they each represent DC lore, so those 4 being the Speed Force, magic, cosmic power, and emotional light spectrum. So they have a handle on pretty much any angle out there. Now this is a villain list, so this is bad news for us, or rather bad news for pretty much any world. For starters, they take all of the energy from living creatures. That's how they come together. Nice, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Also tears. So off the bat, these guys are just OP. I love the look of these celestial gods though. They each have like their own color. Even if Brian Hitch wrote them into his run with the Justice League, with destruction being the driving force, this is still kind of a villain that even I'll root for. I said it, sue me, what's up?
Number 5, Punchline. So Punchline has to be one of my favorite of the newest villains we've seen. I didn't want to like her when she was announced, especially as I thought she was going to be like some new younger version of Harley Quinn, which I didn't really think that we needed. But then I met Punchline, and I gotta say, I like Alexis. She's okay by me. Punchline's real name is Alexis K, and we learned her backstory in the Joker 80th anniversary special. She sought out the Joker believing that his ideology matched or at least suited her own. She has displayed some pretty sweet chemistry and toxicology skills, making Batman his own special version of the Joker Venom. How nice. Which tormented him through most of the Joker War story, and has proven how deadly she can be with her stilettos when she managed to land a life-threatening hit on Harley Quinn. I really hope we get more Punchline in the near future. I was pleasantly surprised by how different and interesting she is in comparison to Harley Quinn, and I also just love her character design. Punchline first appeared in Batman Volume 3 in issue 89.
Number 4, Eradicator 2. With that name alone, oh boy, you already know what's coming. The Eradicator 2 was created, of course, after DC's rebirth with the absence of the original Eradicator. Another big bad version was bound to show up. I mean, we expected it. So of course, this is the newer version of Eradicator from the 80s comics. But the best part is that he still has the 80s look. He's got the retro, badass glasses, which are such a nice touch, by the way. Just by looking at this guy, you can tell he's the coolest. Created by General Zod, this AI ended up taking on the physicalities of Superman, hence the everything about him. So when this badass AI is close to a yellow sun, he gets powered up real good. I'm talking the usual super strength, stamina, flight, speed, and he's basically invincible. A cool but scary power that he also obtains is that of energy manipulation, because he's made of course, pure energy. Eradicator wasn't used too much, but I feel like Eradicator 2, since his first new appearance in Superman Volume 4 Issue 2, at the very end we see his rebirth, and it's beautiful. Once the Kryptonian gene is detected back on the Fortress of Solitude, energy forms all around the room. There's an ID badge, some glasses, and then bam, all this mixed into one. You get this bright pop, and his opening line being, "We are here, we will save you too, Kal-El." And it's sick. He's like basically Terminator with a cape. He's got the look, there's this energy coming from him. I would love to see this guy go head to head with Henry Cavill. I mean, maybe we'll get more of a dark alternate version with the Snyder cut of the Justice League, but fine, that'll have to do in the meantime. For now.
Number 3, Clownhunter. Clownhunter is just a kid who stepped up to the plate when it came to taking back Gotham during the Joker War. Seeing his neighborhood being ravaged and attacked by the Joker gang, and having lost his parents to the Joker, he was inspired to start cracking skulls, which is exactly what he did, defending the innocent with a baseball bat with a batarang attached to it, to kill any clowns that crossed his path. His true name is Bao Pham, and at the end of the event, he was confronted by Batman himself, who suggested that he seek help and speak to a therapist. He also offered to mentor Clownhunter, but warned him that he would not tolerate the teenage Bao killing anyone else, no matter their crime. Clownhunter seemed interested in getting help, but only after his work was done. Clownhunter first appeared in issue 96 of 2016's Batman.
Number 2, the Batman who laughs. Bruce Wayne, but from Earth 22, is a touch different than the one that we know best. The Dark Universe is a very special and very vast place filled with alternate versions of characters, but one of the most notable has to be the Batman who laughs. Making his first appearance in Dark Days, the casting, this Bruce Wayne has, well, of course, similar origins that we're familiar with. Parents were murdered, became a crime-fighting bat, protects Gotham, all the good stuff. But this Joker changed his path up. Joker began murdering everybody in Gotham. He bombed a hospital and then shot the parents of the kids. Like, he's twisted, and he's also dying at the same time. He's dying from the chemicals that made him become the Joker in the first place. So of course he wanted to take everybody out with him. So when Batman stepped in and killed him by breaking his neck, the toxins from the Joker were inhaled by poor Batsy, causing this to happen. So a day later, he's joined by Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, who were training in the Batcave, and then Batman then shot all of them. And then this is just the beginning. This insane clown Batsy is terrifying and entertaining in all of the right ways. And finally, number 1, Astrid Arkham. Making her first appearance with Detective Comics issue 1000, Astrid Arkham, like her name hints, was born in Arkham Asylum. Both of her parents were doctors working there at the time, and her mother, Ingrid, was loved in the asylum, even by the Joker. She's like the cool cafeteria lady. Everyone loves her, you know? Her father, Jeremiah Arkham, was a descendant of Arkham Asylum's founder, Amadeus Arkham, so they were kind of a big deal there. When Ingrid was pregnant with Astrid, the timing couldn't have been worse, however, as a riot began in the prison. It was nice to see because at this point, all these supervillains were protecting Ingrid while she went into labor. I'm talking Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, the Joker, Solomon Grundy, Clayface, they were all keeping her safe. After she gave birth, a rogue Batarang slipped by, and that was sadly the last we saw of Ingrid. Now her father had to raise the child alone, meaning she had to be homeschooled in the asylum, meaning her only friends were inmates. But they felt like they owed her mother the kindness at least, so it wasn't a scary thing. She grew up hating Batman, of course, but that hatred grew even more once Astrid found footage of that fateful birthday. After that, she became a skilled fighter, started a cult called the Knights of the Sun, and went after the one who threw said cursed Batarang. Eventually, she called herself the Arkham Knight.